Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs. With me, as always, is
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico, Favela Jiu Jitsu. I got no AKAs. No, I do have one AKA, but I'm not even gonna drop it today.
yeah, we have a lot of AKs. We got to bring those back. I have to make the list again because I kind of forgot some of them, so I got to piece it together. But we will. I'm bringing back AKAs.
Yo,
Nico's gonna bring back AKA because she only has one.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Jay, who every time Jay pops up at like my little private jiu-jitsu club every now and then will just randomly and aggressively ask me, yo, why does Tim have so many AKAs, man? And I'm like, yo, you listen to the podcast, man? That's what's up. But then again, I don't know why. I was like, I don't know why he has so many AKs. So I get that randomly from Jay. Also from the Sage, I get randomly like, when are you gonna join pro wrestling? And I always tell him he needs to shut up with that ish, because it's bad enough you're talking. It's bad enough you're going over to MMA. I don't need you like entertaining wrestling, and then I'll definitely lose you to the dark side.
I'm a man of many talents, so I have a lot of interest. As far as the AKAs go, like I just can imagine like something happens where like those old mobster movies where they got the picture, the guy's mugshot and all their aliases, like it's like a long list on like a court document. I'm trying to get like at least a page of nicknames. As far as wrestling and stuff, man, that's where the money is. Like there's jujitsu, this is down here. Then there's fighting, but then there's professional wrestling that gets a lot of money. Like you get paid. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
that's
guess
how.
like speaking of professional wrestling, apparently Debo died.
Yeah,
And I know this because Debo had like done some professional wrestling and therefore like reached the Sage's bubble, because he's like, I think that guy from Friday like died. Like, I don't know who he is. And like Debo, we're like Debo? He's like, yeah, the only reason I know he is because he wrestled Hulk Hogan or something like that. But apparently he passed away.
wow, that is it. That tells me how old the person was, and also like they might not have as many black friends as normal people. Because like I know him as Debo, bro. Like I knew him as Debo since I can remember. Like that's a black movie. That's like a hood classic. That's
No.
what they would say. Like everyone knows him as Debo. Like Zeus, he was the man called Zeus for like a year. And that was like an old ass movie. Like, what is it? No Holds Barred? But yeah, rest in peace to Tiny Lister, yo. It's sad. We losing everybody.
That is really sad. That's really sad.
2020 needs to be up out of here. So, Nico, speaking of things being up out of here, can you tell me about like this favela jiu-jitsu bubble, the fubble?
The
Can you
faux.
can you tell me like what's going on? You were
Oh
telling me about a little bit
God, the
about it before the show
bubble.
started.
Uh, that sounds so ungangster when we're talking about that. Whatever, the
A
fubble.
fubble.
Okay, so inside the fubble, inside the fubble, I'm talking about like the boys that we're training in Cantagalo. So I have a correspondent, which sounds super official.
Official
I pay
tissue,
for,
yeah.
right? I pay a person for content, and they are currently in the Cantagalo favela. They
Hmm.
are the wife of a black belt from Cicero Costa. So technically, they are from Cantagalo, but they stay in Sao Paulo. But because of lockdown, everybody's come home. So all of the people that are generally out training or competing or training with other teams, like Jonathan Marquez, who trains at Teddy Kids Project, but is currently fighting under Dream Art, and living in Sao Paulo. Nathan Chung, who's a black belt under Cicero Costa, which is in Sao Paulo. The Gomez brother, which is Jansen and Jonathan, who are now black and brown belts respectively. They're checkmat. There's another one, Zudu or Eduardo from checkmat. Um, and then there was Buddha from 10 a Day Kids Project. He is a brown belt now. Like that was like their little squad of people that was training, and they were training. Um, with themselves to do competition training, as well as training like some actors from novellas in Brazil and like some funky rappers. So they just had a little squad, and for months, like during lockdown, they were either like on rooftops training, or they were at 10 a Day Kids Project, or any place where they could get like some open mats, because they love just anywhere they could train. But finally that broke up. Like, I first got word of it like from my correspondent. She was like, "Yeah, like Jansen's in," because she's like, in the most favela fashion, he's like, "Jansen's in Uruguay. He's trying to go to the U.S. so he can get like an athlete visa." And then Jansen pops up in the brackets of American nationals, like so he got double gold there. He had 11 fights and got gold in gi and no gi. His brother Jonathan, the older one, stayed in Rio. He fought in Rio Grande Slam. He made his black belt debut. I believe I don't know if he lost his first fight or got to the semis. I was watching a lot of fights that weekend. And it's really hard to
Mhm.
watch Grand Slam, but that was really dope just to see that like both of them, like one of them competing in Rio and one of them competing in the US. And I'm surprised. Like, I'm supposed to be in Brazil right now and I'm too scared to travel, but let alone, lo and behold, like these boys are out. And Moicano is finally back at Dream Art, and I didn't realize he was going back. He just disappeared. People have been asking about that, like asking if he left the team or anything, but really I think he just was enjoying being at home, being with his friend Buddha, being with his family and training there. But now he went back to whatever kind of normal training they're having, because I know they're having COVID spikes.
Really?
Yeah, and they're talking about lockdowns and everything again. They've been having elections just like us. I don't think it's
Mhm.
presidential. Um, but yeah, there has been talk about everything closing down in Rio again.
That's fucking nuts, man. So I think it's good that they got up out of there. I mean, they're one's in the States, one's over there competing. That's heavy stuff, man. They
Yeah.
have a whole crew. It's so interesting because like there are teams in this sport, but if you know each other, you're gonna train. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's
right.
like it's like the NBA. Like guys might be on different teams, but in the off season they don't care. They're like training with each other, hooping with each other, doing open runs, scrimmages, all that stuff. That's fascinating.
Right. It's just like when Max was saying, it's like, who do you train with? He's like, you just have like a small group of whoever it is, whether it's here or whether he was up at GF team, they were all home. They needed somebody to train with. They needed high level competitors. So it didn't, like, it was all the teams, like Checkmat,
Mm.
FT Jiu Jitsu, Cicero Costa. That was what it was like really dope to see.
Yeah. I mean, you just need a handful of guys. I think the Dream Art situation is fascinating because it's the perfect setup just for training before the pandemic, but especially now, like if everyone's in their own little bubble and you guys are training all day.
Do you know a lot about Dream Art? Like, because I speak Portuguese, so I like understand all their media, but like I always have like, I don't understand what people that don't speak Portuguese actually understand about Dream Art.
I think it is somewhat of a so my understanding just from doing the show with you and learning about Today Kids Project, learning about social projects, learning about how they recruit and everything. To me, it sounds like a combination of a social project and a team, but it's like a professional team, a truly professional team that's getting invested in. And Izaki, right?
Exactly,
Izaki,
by answer.
Izaki Bayensi, he's the coach and he's like a player coach there, from my understanding. And he's kind of running things. So it's very interesting. We need to get someone that is involved with Dream Art that knows what's going on. Like, we need to get that guy on the show or
And
gal
we
on the
we
show.
actually do. We're gonna have that person. So like my correspondent actually hit me up.
Hmm.
Thank God. Like, I pay a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
and it's worth it to me. Like, when every time we talk about, every people complain about this in media and that, like, I pay a lot of money to support like
Mhm.
somebody giving me content, and then that's just them being able to work on their own and create content. So they just randomly hit me up, and they're like, they're the one that told me Moicano went back to Dream Art, and they're like, they gave me the number to somebody from Dream Art that speaks English good enough. They said they would be a good guest for this podcast, you know.
Let's
So
get it.
That's the thing about Dream Art. Like they produce amazing content because, like you said, you think they're a social project, and like I guess that's how they might market themselves. But like, as somebody that works for social projects, like we don't got no money. Like to me, Dream Art is taking kids from social projects, and it's a company with a lot of money. It's a
Hmm.
money man that is using Izaki Bayense to do good with his money. Um, but no, they're loaded. Um, I know Moicano, the Mendez brothers had Moicano drop out of high school. And I'll say that. And like that's my issue with the Mendez brothers and AOJ. Like they took him from Brazil to the US for 6 months periods of time. So how are you supposed to study? So he had no education. Dream Art forced Moicano to get his high school degree and to study English. And they give them things like physical therapy and a lot of other services that athletes don't get, like a lot of educational services about nutrition. So it's like that's all I really know. But like there can be good and there can be bad. Like everybody complains about like the Mendes brothers and how they were pulling people from other teams. And I know Fabio Andrade is really pissed off that they took one of his kids. But like for us, for people with Moicano, I know Moicano, when he went down there, they approached Tirade first and they asked him. And like for us, it's like we don't have the money to support everything that Moicano wants. Like so Moicano needs those like those financial opportunities. Moicano is being raised by a single mother, you know, and us. So to us it was like, okay, we don't, like it's not a matter of being like a creonche, it's a matter of like one time I asked Moicano how he was doing, like when he got back from the Mendes brother, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm okay. Like his back was hurting and he asked me for some money for physical therapy. But then I talked to my mentor and he's like, yeah, Moicano like house got shot up 3 times, like there's 3 bullet holes in his like living room window. Like so it's a lot better for Moicano to be at Dream Art than it is to be at Cantagalo. And he also doesn't have high level competitors to train with at the favela. Like I was saying, he was training with all those people that are sometimes there. But a lot of the times when it's not lockdown, they're traveling the world.
Wow, what a life, right?
Right?
What a life from this art we play that we train. You know, who would have thought? Um, Wow, I'm just lost for words. That's intense. That's a lot to dissect. We need to get Moicano. Once, how good is Moicano's English? Has he been studying?
No,
He probably has.
no, his English sucks. Like, and I feel so bad. That's why I made it. That's why I made it. That's why I could say I was so mad. I was like,
Oh
I would have killed the
no!
Mendes brothers for that. The Mendes brothers are gonna kill me, and I love Rafa. I watch
Hey,
highlight videos for everything, but no,
gotta call
he's
a
all
spade a spade.
jujitsu. He is all jujitsu and no English. His English might be a little bit better.
Hey man, you need to tell him to go to Gmart and get in them fucking books, man.
No, I
I'm
have
trying to have
threatened
him be
his
on the
life off
show.
that. I've threatened his life, but like when push comes to shove, Moicano can fuck me up. So there's really nothing I can say to him that like,
Nah, you better tell him he gonna catch a hot one unless he knows English by the end of the
"Ah,
year.
what am I gonna throw on Moicano? Moicano will fuck me up.
Oh man. Yeah, all right. So a former guest of the show had a very successful UFC debut. I just want to say congrats to Tafon the Don Chukwi.
Oh, you got the last name right.
Yes, I
Like
did. Yes.
he
I got all the
killed,
ethnic names
killed,
down
killed
now.
the
Yes.
debut. Killed the debut. We actually pushed off the recording of this episode so we could do it after he fought.
Mm-hmm. Uh he did phenomenal. Master Lloyd, Coach Jamal did a great job teaching him. Like he was listening. Yes, sorry guys, I did not pay for the stream. I'm not getting ESPN Plus. I already have cable. You're not getting me for $25 a month. I'll watch the highlights or I bootleg it, but I bootlegged it so I could see the homie do work. He did a phenomenal job. I could hear Master Lloyd and Jamal doing a great job coaching in the corner. Complete domination. I mean, he got hit clean a couple of times, but I mean, it's a fight, so you're gonna get hit clean.
He's a big
And
dude.
he's a big dude. Like the guy was tall, but Tafon did a great job. Nice 3 rounds. It showed that he can make 185 and he can go hard for 15 minutes and the weight cut doesn't affect his cardio. So congrats to Tafon. We need to get him back on the show just to tell us, I like bringing back return guests. We don't do it often, but I think it's going to be interesting if we can keep him coming on the show because he's going to eventually be a champion.
Yeah, figure out that post fight ritual, whatnot. See if he has a post fight like dressing ritual like Jamil. Like I was looking back at that episode and like chopping up some pieces when Jamil was talking about how he picks up his wardrobe or picks out his wardrobe. So meticulous. I know Tafon's got his furs.
His first, man, he's first of many. He's a star, man. Shout out to Tafon. Shout out to the team. Nico, I have a question.
What's up?
What was your favorite Christmas present growing up?
My favorite Christmas present.
Yes.
I mean, the one that I know that I was most excited about, like, was when I was a kid and I got like a Super Nintendo, like video games.
The purple and gray joint?
Yeah.
Super.
Like
Oh,
I remember like of
word.
all the presents like that my parents just killed it with the presentation like with like because they like wrapped an empty box too, so like then me and my brother had to go find that joint. And like subsequent like Christmases I've gotten like other like games like we've upgraded, but like because Christmas is the best when you're young. Screw all the
Mhm.
presents when you're older. I've gotten money, I've gotten trips, I've gotten this, but that was the best. Because now that I'm old and we like a year in the quarantine, I don't see nobody, and like I've gotten some random presents from people, and that's like really nice. Because now everybody always just gives money. I get no presents, I get money.
Damn. I'd have to say my favorite Christmas present was a mongoose.
Oh,
Mongoose BMX bike with black pegs.
oh, my brother done beat me off of like stealing one of his mongooses one time.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
deserved it. You can't fuck with somebody's
I
mongoose bike.
understand why that
I'd
was
had to
so
break you
weird.
off too, man. Like
Mhm.
you can't mess with the
I
mongoose.
mean, I took it on like a ride, like a joyride. I was his sister, but oh yeah, mongoose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun story. Like we had snow here in Maryland. It wasn't as bad as it was in the story, but you know how when you live in a cul-de-sac, they just push all the snow up and it becomes like a mountain.
Yes.
And
In
like
the
it's
big
right on the
sport.
curve and it's like a big mountain and then a slope at the end. So I took the mongoose out one winter. I was like, hey dad, I'm gonna show you what I could do. I rode the bike. I try to pop, you know how you do the pop-ups because you got the, you know what I'm saying. You do a pop-up and I tried to jump over that mound of snow. Back tire clipped it, front flip over the handlebars, land flat on my back on like hard ass snow. And my
Mm.
pops just laughing at me.
Not even the soft snow.
No. Oh no, it was like it was a day after the next day after where it was still hard, like a couple of days after.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the reason why I even mentioned that is because in this segment, we're going to give our martial arts Christmas list, things we want or want to happen in martial arts. All right. Or combat sports, MMA, jujitsu, all that noise. Nico, do you have your presence in mind or should I start?
You start with yours. I'll
All
start
right, bet.
with time.
So, the first thing on my martial arts Christmas list, COVID-19 dies down enough for us to compete again like we used to. That's number one. I think that's pretty easy. I mean, I miss the road trips. I miss being active, like every week having a competition and getting paid for it. Like those fight to win trips, clutch, crucial. Like the Denver one was lit. Like, man, I miss those trips. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Number two, year round random drug testing for competitions. Random year
Never
round
heard of
drug
anybody
testing.
asking for drug testing for Christmas, but that's a fair ask. I'm down
For
with
the
that.
sport, everything else, no more drug testing. But for jujitsu, PED testing. Let me clarify. PED testing, year-round PED testing. Another Arte Suave documentary. I told you a little bit about my list before. Have you ever seen Arte Suave, Nico?
Yes, and now I understand. I thought you were telling me that there's a new one coming out. So y'all, I'm sitting here Googling this. I was like, Tim, I don't see anything about an Arche Suave 2 coming out.
Arte
Tim. What
Suave
are you
3,
talking
3.
about?
Yeah. No, there's no Arte Suave 3 out yet, but I'm putting all that positive energy into the universe because I really want a third one. First two Arte Suaves are classic. You can watch them on YouTube. It's spelled ARTESUAVE. These are mandatory viewing if you do jujitsu. They got Nico, you've seen a little bit, right? They got
Yeah,
these are young versions. These are like the guys that are on the Mount Rushmore of jujitsu when they're like young, like in the game.
old school. I was watching Jacare rolling.
Jacare, Marcelo, Hodger, Shanji, like in the first one alone, just training. Like, you know, Braza, old school Braza. Yeah. Those Bambas was in the movie training together on like a summer camp type joint. So they've been doing like fantasy camps with jiu-jitsu for at least the last decade and a half. Then you got Arte Suave 2 with Damian Maya. And they got Jacare wrestling a little Ari Farias. And so that's what I want. I want an Arte Suave 3. This is a big one. And I'm not sure Santa Claus is going to make it happen, but we'll see. Worlds will be on the East Coast. That's what I want for Christmas. East Coast world. It don't matter what part of the East Coast. Florida would be dope, like a Miami, but it has to be on the East Coast. I mean, at least 1 year. We got to switch it up. Like after this year, we got to switch it up and make it so people want to go. And you got to bring some kind of attention to Worlds. Cause like I'm sick of going to California. Like everything's in California except Nogi Pans. Like West Coast keep Nogi Worlds, but we want Gi Worlds on the East Coast because the East Coast is just as good as the West Coast, and there's just as many schools. Not everything is in Southern California. Last one, I could get this myself, but I want someone to get it for me. A mouthpiece that looks like a gold grill. That's it. That's my list. I gotta get the gold grill mouthpiece. Coated
That's a good list.
chompers.
That's a good list. I would also like one. I'll take one. I'll buy one.
No, see, we have a podcast. We beg our audience to give it to us. We guilt them into buying it for us, Nico. That's how this works here.
Teddy Day had a way of doing that, and like he would like come. He would have students. He had this one student that worked for an oil company that would come in the morning for private lessons, and he'd look at his gi and he'd be like, "Yo, your gi's a little too short. Like your sleeves are too short. You're like, yo, it's too short. You should buy another one. Donate that one to the project." Yeah.
The question is, would he wear the gi?
What? No, no.
Oh,
It
okay.
would
He
have
it
it
was
would have been
actually
that would
donated.
be his way to A, get a donation to the project, and B, sell one of his own geese. He'd be like, "Yeah, let me sell you this gee."
Yeah, that's
It's like, yo,
true.
your geese too small. But anyway, piggybacking off of one of the things you said, worlds on the East Coast. I want worlds out of the United States because it's not fair or equitable that to be a world champion, you need an American visa. So fuck that.
Ooh,
First off top, defund racist jujitsu.
wow, going
It's
hard
racist
early.
as fuck to only have worlds in the US. Okay.
You hitting the hard R word. Racist as fuck, you
It's
say.
racist as fuck to only because like to be a world champion, you need an American visa. You don't have to be good at jujitsu. You need to have money and you need to have connections first off. How is that the first requirement? Fuck that.
Where would you
Think
have
about that.
worlds?
Anywhere
I
other than the US, Olympics, what other competition doesn't, what other major world competition doesn't change countries?
I mean, shit, they haven't changed state in like
What other, in any other sport, what other world
none.
competition, Olympics, World Cup, any soccer cup, World Series, like every basketball thing switches from different homes.
Super
Like,
Bowl.
everything
My
travels except worlds for jujitsu.
But do you think, are you expecting too much from IBJJF? I mean, it's not as well organized as the
Oh
IJF
yeah,
or
I
the
think that would definitely be. It's not about a matter of being well organized. It's a matter of it being organized by the Gracies, or not just the Gracies, but a minority that has no invested interest. Like, what does it benefit them financially to move it out of the U.S.? Not at all. It hurts them financially. So why would they do that? And it's a pain in the ass. It's a huge organizational, like, logistical shit show, but it's what you need for equality, or to at least like make it like somewhat fair. Like, think about any African athlete. How hard is it to get out of Africa? And all African athletes, most of them compete in Abu Dhabi.
do you think that the standings and the results would be a lot different if they started putting it in different countries?
Of course. Of course. Because
Yeah,
again, the first requirement for competing in Worlds is an American visa. And American visa is a highly coveted and scarce thing. So it's like,
damn. That's good. I agree, Nico. It should be out of the country. They should put it somewhere like, and people would complain, but I think it would make it a lot more equitable, especially if it's someplace where it's like Americans have to be uncomfortable, or like Brazilians that live in America, or there's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would be a lot of different results too. What's
it'd be really different. All right, so that'd be my first one. Off top, defund racist jujitsu, move worlds.
yeah.
Second one would be a King's Nano A2 gi, but like the original one that had like the yellow outlines, because I got the new one and for some reason like the eight, no, I'm sorry, it's an F2, but it doesn't fit me right. Like, it is so hard as a female to find a nice lightweight gi that's good for competition, that fits just right. And I really like a tight gi, like kind of like Safalo, that would just barely get me past like um the check-in. I'm not even gonna lie, because like, fuck your De La Hiva. I hate when people get like that really strong like pant grip, or like, I just like my gi to fit right. So the King's Nano F2, that's a good one for me. I would love some more of them, but their original one. Let's get past the mouthpiece. I would like some beachfront property in Buzios. I'm gonna call this jujitsu related because I want to do like a jujitsu camp. Gracie's do it. I can do it too. I just need some property. Uh, so let's go. We're moving worlds. We're getting a gi. Got some beachfront property. The last thing is a buddy pass, a lifetime buddy pass to get me to all of my competitions all over the world.
Can you explain what a buddy pass is for those who don't know?
I'm not even 100% sure, but cheap plane tickets.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the pilot, somebody at an airline has to hook you up, and I kind of want like an upgraded buddy pass, because I also think that sometimes you have to go to the airport and like wait, or like be notified if there's like an extra seat on a flight. Like, so can I just upgrade a buddy pass to just like free airline tickets? But I don't think that exists. So a buddy pass.
Nah, man, you gotta get your ass beat by the air marshal for no good reason to get that. And I
Mm,
don't think you want to get, I don't think you want to have those problems. That's the
no,
only way I think someone's ever gotten it, right? Like, some guy just got dragged off a flight one time and he sued him, and they gave him something.
I've never heard of it.
Oh yeah, they'll give you free. Or you just have someone, you inherit it, like someone just has like long time ago, like Delta Miles had this thing where it was like the general club, where like you basically get upgraded to first class every flight just because you have that many points. So maybe you could inherit that. Those are all great selections. Like, really, that's really good. Damn,
The
like
plane
you went
tickets are
in,
really gonna the plane tickets are gonna be the gift that keep on giving.
like you go
The buddy
anywhere.
the
Like,
buddy pass.
when we do the season, I think airline tickets is like the biggest chunk. If you're not getting flued out, that's a lot of money, especially if you want to go on a decent airline or get a decent flight, or one from where you specifically live. It's gonna it runs you a lot of money to air. Like, that's a life changer. You'll get it, Nico. You're gonna get buddy pass
Yeah.
this year. 2021, you're getting the buddy
Yeah,
pass.
flew down,
You're
flew
getting flued
down.
out
It's like there's a New Orleans Open now. Like once the world starts, oh man, all the opens,
once the world starts opening up. I want my freedom.
right?
So I've been getting a little bit of media attention, Nico, after my call out of Dillon Danis.
Yeah. Did you want to intro that, or would you just like me to go in on you right away about this stack of cash you were
why
posting?
why are you going in on me? Like, why?
We got money like that. I didn't know we had money like that, Tim. Like, and I noticed though we got money like that,
We
Tim.
all I'm gonna say about that is like I work really hard and the people want the fight. The people want to see that fight, Nico.
Hey.
I know the people want to see the fight because I announced that I was beginning my transition officially into MMA. I mean, those of you who listen to the podcast know already that I went down to Savannah. I braved the biggest pandemic of our generation just so I could get some really good training with my boy Musin. You know, I defer to experts. He's an expert. I come back. I want to do it. Matter of fact, I got to get my beauty rest tonight because I got practice tomorrow morning. I'm training. And I say on Instagram Live, I want a big fight. And I decide to do MMA in a cage. I want to get paid. And I see a lot of other guys with credentials less than mine getting a whole lot of favorable matchups. They're getting the marquee. And I want that too. So I asked the people first who they wanted to see me fight. And the name that popped up the most, more than anyone, was Dillon Danis. I said, yeah, of course. I would love to smash Dillon Danis's face and get paid to do it and do it for jiu-jitsu because the guy claims to be the best grappler in MMA. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. I know for sure I'm a better grappler than him. Like for sure, like the beatings I handed him. It makes sense. It makes sense because I have fans. Like you see my lives, you see like the response I get. Like people fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? I have true fans. He has people that just know him because he's McGregor's homeboy. I mean, but he's good. And it's the two jiu-jitsu guys. We're gonna put on an MMA fight because jiu-jitsu founded MMA with the Gracies, and it only makes logical sense. So we can see who the best grappler in MMA is. Because I totally disagree. You know me, I don't really like the whole thing where guys just talk shit to get into their position. I kind of appreciate guys that did it the hard way, you know, not with the bullshit clout chasing and like doing the publicity stunts. I'm not going to go on, but I put up the money. No, not me first. So somebody in the chat said 100K. They put up 100K to see the fight and they put it on me. Then somebody said 200. So I said, okay, let's do 250. And I tagged him in it. He got mad. He blocked me, unfollowed me, all this nonsense. And I'm saying I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So the whole thing is this, Nico. I'm calling this guy's bluff because I hate guys that just talk shit all the time and don't really do anything. And you know, and process, if he wants to scrap, we can scrap and let's get paid because I'm doing MMA anyway. And I love jiu-jitsu. I want to represent jiu-jitsu against this clown. So
Hey,
so be it. Let's
that
do
would be
it.
a dope
He even
fight.
responded. He hasn't even responded. So obviously he doesn't want the money. He doesn't want the challenge. He just wants to stay famous as long as he can until someone exposes him. You know, he wants to play with Logan. The thing is, he picks on YouTubers. Like at the end of the day, like you're a professional martial artist. You've been doing this since how long? And you're picking on a YouTuber? Come on, bro. You should have been fighting by now. So I gave him until September. I said September 2021, let's have the fight. They give you 9 months. It takes 9 months to have a baby. It should give you 9 months. 9 months should be enough time for you to prepare for the smoke I'm about to give you. But he doesn't want the smoke. He hasn't responded. This guy is like hanging out with McGregor, so maybe McGregor pays him a lot to teach him how to get strangled by Khabib and like
Got better things to do.
yeah. But it's whatever. But you were gonna scold me or something, or you're gonna say like,
No, I was just wondering. I was like, oh, well, we posting. Because, I live in DC, a lot of
Yeah.
jujitsu people, and then like a lot of like DC kids, and then DC kids do nothing but like listen to me like rap music videos while they smoke their blunts and post the trap money and shit. And then like I'm thinking it's one of these DC kids coming to find out it's my fucking co-host. I was like, wait, hold up. How about this is one of the DC trap stars?
Hey, listen.
I was like, no, this is my people.
Sometimes you just gotta let them know, Nico. Like I'm so, me, I'm humble. I just like to keep my nose to the grindstone and hustle. But like, bro, like, let's do it. Like, I'm sick of just sitting in the sidelines and saying like, I'm as good as I'm great, and I know I'm the shit, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it big. So let's do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to. Sometimes you just gotta show them that you mean business, and if they want the smoke or not, it's up to them. But we just gonna keep doing. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring jujitsu. I'm trying to bring excitement to jujitsu, Nico,
I
because lately I haven't been excited about jujitsu.
That's what I was gonna say. Are you trying to bring excitement to jiu-jitsu? Are you trying to transition into MMA and get it popping off over there? Like, I feel you on that. Like, it's been a rough year for jiu-jitsu or in general, but definitely for jiu-jitsu.
It's been awful. It's been really rough. It's been really tough. And I think that's what jiu-jitsu needs is more entertainment. But not no like bullshit entertainment, but for real shit. Like this is real shit what I'm trying to do. Like real people. I think it's good that, we're gonna finally get some excitement in jiu-jitsu. I have not been very enthused, and it's weird because like you said with the visa issue, we're not seeing the best guys out there at these tournaments. We're not seeing everybody. And a lot of people, even the best guys, a lot of people aren't comfortable going out there. Like Jamil, like I see him training. I would have loved to see him in that rematch against Mateus. You know what I'm saying? We lost that this year. I would have loved to have seen Muhammad fight Marigali again, but we missed that this year. So it's really just been kind of a bummer year for me. Just like it's not the same.
Yeah, like people keep asking me, like, am I going to Masters Worlds or where am I in all these competitions? And I'm like, you know, I'm not competing. Like, I don't want to be out. Like, it's one thing that I do train minimally, but like, I don't want to go to competitions like Worlds where people are coming from all over the US at a time when like coronavirus rates are spiking. And then more and more people are like, just like, oh, it's like the flu. It's like the flu. It's like, well, I've never had the flu. I don't want the flu. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna take care of me. Y'all ain't gonna take care of me if I'm sick. I'm gonna be by myself in a city where I have no family. Um,
And they can't come and see you.
yeah,
They can't
so
even come inside if they wanted to.
yeah, so it's like nobody's gonna be dropping off food at my front front door for me. So it is still like a pandemic, and I think that really does kind of affect the level of competition. Flow Grappling was posting about like Josh Hinger like breaking his curse and like finally winning Masters Worlds, but it's like this is kind of like an interim year. It's like the year of the interim belt.
The interim year. It's the interim year. If you think about it, even other sports, like as an aside, like basketball, a lot of the players are saying, of course, it was easier in the bubble because there's no travel. We get ice baths right afterwards. There's no crowd noise really. It's all phoned in, and like they're playing hard, but it's not the same. It makes a total difference for everything. And that's on a larger scale, but the same rings true for jujitsu. If guys can't even come in the country, it's like what the problem is you stated, but even more so because of the Rona. And guys that are ready that could fight now, they're like, oh no, not really feeling it. Mm. And it's probably fucked with a lot of guys' pockets. Not just
For
IBJGF,
sure.
but guys' pockets. Like this is the entertainment industry, whether we like to admit it or not. So this is like being a circus, but you can't be a traveling circus because all the venues are shut down. So the clowns are out of work. What are you gonna do?
Fight.
Right,
Which is why
yeah.
people are fighting.
All right.
Fight and open classes. That's exactly
Yes.
why. Uh, but it is hard to be excited, and
It is what it is. So, Nico, do you want to get into our fantasy grappling super fight card?
you really trying to get excited about football, like,
I
about grappling
We
again.
don't have to. Matter of fact, Nico, if you're not excited
No,
about jiu-jitsu, we will shut this podcast down
no,
right here,
I'm just
right
like, I
now.
just
We
see
will
this,
pull
like,
this car
I see
over.
it. You're like, I'm a fight Dylan. Fuck jiu-jitsu. Like, it's not getting excited, and then like, fantasy, like fantasy fights that would make jiu-jitsu exciting, like just brooding one night. Like, I'm down.
Yes.
I see this. I see where this dark path of thought went one night, Tim.
Me, I'm the king of the segues, baby. AKA the king of the segues. Segway king. We'll work on it. But now we're gonna require a little bit like a time machine usage, or like, kind of like Mortal Kombat where they suck you from whatever dimension you're in or whatever timeline. You put up to fight each other. So you're gonna have to excuse some of these, but we're assuming that these guys are in their prime and not their old, decrepit, broken down piece of meat selves in some cases. So,
Gymnastica natural will keep you young and fighting.
and the Bomba. So
También.
my first matchup, this would be a barn burner. I would do fight to win rules to submission with these. So first one, Jamil versus Hafa Mendez. Jamil almost put Cabrinha to sleep. His first year black belt. This man invented lapel guard, whether you like to believe it or not. And he's a super athlete. And he's going against another innovator, the innovator of the Berimbolo.
And so quick. Such
So
different
quick.
styles though from Cabrinho. I think it would be definitely an interesting matchup. I used to watch Hafa's highlights, passing highlights before
Mhm.
training, like crack. Like I just put it on repeat and then like mainline my pre-workout.
Wow. Yeah. Hoffa versus Jamil. I think that's like a fight of the century. And you know what? Hoffa's like almost my age. He could come back, bro. Come on, man. Get on the juice for like a year. Just train. Let's get it. This could still happen, this fight. This fight, we need a time machine. Letitia versus Bia. That if that fight were to ever happen, if we all had the time machine or whatever, that fight ever happened, I think our whole simulation would implode because these two are the best of the best, arguably pound for pound, two of the best of all time, male or female.
Yeah, like Leticia, like, especially since she just has her gym and her team out there of like Amazonian warriors in California, it's just kind of scary.
Yeah. And
Kind of
she's
just
so
OG scary.
good. She's so good in such a mind and jujitsu, which I think the match would be interesting because Letitia is such a good coach. So if you're a good coach, you have to have jujitsu in your mind. She
Yep.
created Bia. She brought up Bia. And Bia is like, I saw her in her final before her weight class, last worlds that we had where there was people. I looked into her eyes. It's just her, just like the way she was walking, pacing. She had the headphones on, her stare, and I looked on the other side and I saw the girl she was about to fight, and I was like, this poor girl, like she's finna die.
No, they're intense. They have an intense training camp before Worlds. Like they will not let people or reporters into.
Yeah, yeah, and I just knew she had a glow. It was like Dragon Ball
You
Z
have
when
the
they're just
look of
standing.
fear.
Like she had the, how in Dragon Ball Z anime they're just like, and like they're just like this aura. It was like she went Super Saiyan before the match and she killed the girl. No offense, but yeah, that fight needs to happen. Next, Hodolfo versus Kynan, but in the gi, and it has to be 2011. Let's get roided up 2018 Kynan, 19 Kynan versus roided up 2011 Hodolfo Vieira.
I
That's
kind of want to
another.
see you and those two roided up in a room with you, accusing them of being roided up. I think that would be the only fight I need to see.
Me roided up.
No,
Me ro-
you just in a room with those two making that statement
They
to their
probably
face.
like, yeah, so. Be like, so.
When the void
Yeah,
rage
duh.
hits.
Have you ever seen? I'm gonna be fair. Like, steroids work because those 2 years of those two fighters, like, you're like, man, I don't think anybody can like fuck with them in that year. Like, this is
We
like,
need to make some before and after pics because, like, I'm not really hip to the mental images. I can't pull up, I can't invoke these mental images. I can't distinguish them on steroids and them not.
I mean, I've never known them to not be on it. So I just just next fight. JT
Exactly.
JT Torres versus Marcelo Garcia Nogi. That I think I outdid myself on that one. That'd be interesting.
That would be a good one.
Because we're assuming Marcelo, but JT last few years in Nogi, like no one's really fucking with him.
Yeah,
No one's really
see,
fucking with him.
see,
Like
I
he's
wouldn't
doing
even have
Marcelo
thought
type
of that
shit.
matchup, which makes it more interesting, like kind of more like an old school style. Like for JT, I would have gone like for a wrestler. Um,
Yeah, because I mean
so
JT can play guard too. Yeah.
I
Go
know. So
ahead.
I think that matchup between Marcelo, like the new school, old school, would be definitely interesting.
Last one. I'm digging in the crates with one of the guys in the matchup, but screw it. This is gonna be a Nogi match between Buchecha and Ricardo Arona.
I don't even know who Arona is.
All right, guys, this has been the BJJ Goons podcast.
I just got
Nico's
fired.
fired.
I Flow Grappling has never fired me, and they know damn well like I don't know who anyone is.
This
No, you
guy,
see,
I'm not even going to tell you who Ricardo Arona is. She's Googling right now. If you're listening, don't cheat. If you don't know who Ricardo Arona is, I'm looking at you guys on YouTube. You need to pause this, stop the show, press the button down there, pause the show, go to Wikipedia and look up who Ricardo freaking Arona is. All
I
right.
mean, I know who Ricardo Arjona is, but
Don't give me that accent bullshit. All right. All right. What do you see,
but
Nico? Did you Google it for real or are you just playing? Come
I
on, please tell
mean,
me you're playing.
of Bucks, I say a cute
The
dude. Like,
Brazilian Tiger,
I guess
bro.
definitely I'm Googling it. I still pride. You said you're digging in crates though. How like
I'm
uh
digging into crates for like,
Carlson Gracie. I don't know who Ricardo the Tiger is.
whoo, Lord Jesus. You know, every day we move further and further from the light of the Lord. Nico, just
And this
stop.
is why it's important to have more content and support more independent content makers like the BJJ. I'm
BJJ
trying to
Goons.
read. I didn't do my stuff. I don't know who Ricardo is. I'm trying to read BJJ Heroes and drop this
I
ad
stomped you.
for new sponsors for us.
Go
So
ahead. Go into the
excuse me.
ad. Go into the ad. Go in the
Brazilian
ad.
top team, also Carson Gracie,
Ricardo Rono was a bad
Niroy.
motherfucker, Nico. That's all you need to know. Next episode, you're going to give us a full report. But like she was saying, we could not do this show without the support of our sponsors. You know, we've worked with Perry Athletic, VHCS. But if you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the show, please, you can DM us at No New Nico on Instagram or Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram. You can hit my email at bookspriggsbjj@gmail. I mean, Nico knows we're independent. We do not get paid. We make our money off of sponsors for this show. The sponsors are what keep the show going, actually, Nico. And when you buy our merch at Favela Jiu Jitsu, you are also not only supporting us, but you're also supporting Today Kids Project and everything Nico Ball does for Favela Jiu Jitsu. Right, Nico?
Yeah, that is faux show. And you need to make sure that you get your hoodies by the end of the month, because I'm not going to be sitting around with hoodies in inventory. They take up a lot of space. Apparently, I didn't realize that. We got small offices. So order your hoodies now. This, this is the pre-sale. If you don't get your hoodies now, then they will not be in stock later. All right.
Yes. So make sure you get your gear. Nico?
We going back to my fight lineup.
Yes.
All right. Before we leave out of here. All right. This took me a while. I had to think it over. You know, had to do a little bit of justice. Of course, had to bring in some of the women, but I have to do the headline with, Tim Spriggs and Dillon Danis. 250 has been put down on the line. Dillon has not responded. I feel like this fight is a fight that needs to happen. It needs to happen on the headlines of Flow Grappling. It needs to happen on the headlines of, like, my own personal fantasy grappling super fight. So that would be the first one. Then we're going to go away from Tim all the way to the other side of the spectrum, to the tiniest people that we have in the world. We're going to go with Maísa Bastos, one of my favorites. I was watching an interview with her on Flow Grappling. Amazing fighter. 0 words. 0 words. She goes up and she tells how she's like, can I just speak in Portuguese? She's like, I ain't doing this English. She's like, I done choked out enough people. I am not going to learn your language, colonizers. That's not happening.
Nico not fucking around this episode, man. She's going hard. Go ahead, Nico. I fucks with it.
And
Go
then
ahead.
she
I
still
fucks
didn't
with it.
have anything to say because she's just such a quiet person. So, like, I would love to see Maísa fight. I want to see her fight what I consider to be the complete opposite, a little rambunctious thing, a little rambunctious blonde thing. Talita Alcañan, she is always an amazing, interesting fight. So I would love to see the two of them go. It's got to be a no-gi fight, Maísa with her bolo and her grips, I think it would be a little bit more interesting if we kept a little bit slippier. So that would be my second one. My third one, I want to see May. I want to see May throw down. He always cracks me up. He just made his black belt debut. I love his style. I love that May has been in the US training blind for like 2 months because he lost his glasses, and how passionate he is. And I want to see May go against Guy Mendes. I think that would be nice. I think if me and like Tim do our lineups, our fantasy lineups next to each other to see like Guy and Rafa back in action, that would be really dope. I think that's where it's at. Going back up in weight class and back to the women. We got to have the Gabby duel. The duel of the Gabbies. Who is the best Gabby? The old school Garcia or the new school from the favela? Gabi Pasania repping the city of God, who, of course, I'm going to put my money on her. I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, I'm definitely putting my money on her. That would be an interesting fight. And then the last one I said I wanted to see Amanda Nunes versus anybody in BJJ rule set in a gi. We got to throw her out of the cage and into a gi. Yo, yeah. You think it's got to be no gi against?
You got to give her a chance. Like, damn, gi is different. It's
all
not
right,
1998.
all right. We're gonna break this one down. You're gonna get bumped as the main event because we've all seen you fight. Like, not MMA, but we're talking about jiu-jitsu. You're gonna get bumped as the main event, and as the main event, I would like to see Amanda Nunes and Mackenzie Dern. We're gonna have to do some kind of like sick twisted combination of gi, no gi, like round robin.
Why you got?
Because I want to see it both.
You want to see both?
It's got to be gi and no gi, and it's got to be some kind of combination because you're going to need more than 2 fights to even it out. So, that's just going to be the headliner.
Damn. That's a good card, Nico.
That's good job. Amazing card.
That's a great card. That's a phenomenal card. We should make it happen. So, Nico, that's all I have.
If Dillon Danis would take this fight and get his ass whooped, we could take that money.
He's not going to take the fight,
we could take that money and support, and we could
pay
for this, and we could pay for these super fights.
He's not going to take the fight, Nico. So anyway, Nico, it's been a good episode. We're going to get up out of here. Remember, you can catch me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram or Facebook. Nico, where can they find you?
And make sure to follow me at Nico on Instagram. And go follow the BJJ GOONS podcast Instagram. I'm not on it, but like, y'all need to go follow it. We do make
Yes.
content. Go
We,
follow it. We have an
we're putting out
abysmal number
more.
of followers. Actually, it's kind of pathetic. So please
We're
raise
gonna
it
get
back.
to 10,000 by summertime.
Yeah, it's not even pathetic. It's just like if you don't have 10,000, are you really existing?
No, not at
Mm-mm.
all. If you can't swipe up, your voice doesn't matter. Just kidding.
10K. Help us
All
get
right.
to 10K. Pay
Listen,
it forward.
this has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Us.